This Tellervo tutorial is going to show you how to use the Tellervo software to help you curate or manage the physical samples in your dendro collection. So this is one of the key features of Tellervo. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to manage, even quite substantial collections of samples. And most of these functions are found within the administration menu. So to start with, if we go to curation and box details, so the concept of a box within Tellervo is it represents a sort of the grouping, the collection of samples, typically stored within a box or within a drawer or a shelf of your storage area. So I'm currently logged into the Cornell tree ring lab database. So if we look here, we can see a list of all the boxes currently within the collection at Cornell. So if I pick one here, this shows you the details of one particular box. So the way we organise at Cornell now is via collection years. So at the beginning of a year, we start out collecting in sequential boxes. So 2009 1 would be the first box collected in the collection year 2009. So here is the 20th box of samples taken from that year. And you can see we have a basic sort of record card here. It shows you when the record was last updated. It shows you the permanent location, so where this where this box should be stored. So you'll see here below D is the D is the lecture room, where and below which we have a storage facility. So below D, shelf 5 is where this box is supposed to live. But you'll see here that the current location is marked as checked out. So you can see this particular student has taken this box and checked it out of the collection back on the 23rd of September. We also have a second tab here showing the contents of the box. So this gives us a complete list of all the samples that should be in this box. So we have additional features here. So if we wanted to add an additional sample to the box, we can use this button here, and using the barcoding or by selecting a sample from the pull down menu, you can add a sample to this box. We also have the functionality for sort of stock taking of your collection. So, as with any collection, there's always the possibility that samples can go missing. So, periodically it's a good idea to do some sort of a stock take on here. So, for instance, we would take this box from the store, and then we can go through and we can tick which samples we know we can see that are in the box. And we may find that these two are missing, for instance, in which case we can then mark these samples as missing from the box. And if we were to do that, you see we then have a note in the comments field here saying that these samples were found missing, and what date they were recorded as missing. So this is a handy tool for just it's a fairly basic but a fairly handy tool for keeping track of exactly where our samples are. So other tools required for curation. So one of the key things obviously is trying to find a sample. So if you need to get access to a particular sample, we can do that through the Find a Sample menu. In which case we can take, for instance, the example if you have a sample lying around in your lab and you're not sure where it's supposed to be stored, you're clearing up. If it's got a barcode, you can use the barcode. You can just scan that, and the system will then search through the database and give you tell you exactly which box it should be in and where that box is located. Alternatively, if you're in the lab and you're sort of reading a report and you want to find a particular sample, so that if you know the name for that sample, let me just try and pick something at random. We can type in the code, And here you can see this particular sample should be in box TU200. So this is from the older collection stored at Cornell, where the samples are stored via country. So TU here means Turkey. Alternatively, you can use these pull-down menus, where you can just pick the site, or and pick through the sample in a similar way. So you saw on the previous box details screen the fact that one of the boxes had been checked out. We can do that here automatically using these checkout and return box functions. So the idea of this is that you take a box from your store, and you can mark in the database that this sample has been taken, either again by scanning the barcode on the box, or using the pull down menu. So we can simply pick the particular box that we're taking out of the store, and then that marks it in the collection for anybody else in the lab. So if they're then trying to find the particular samples from that box, they can see in the database that the box has already been checked out, and by whom. And of course, when you finished working with that box, you can then do a similar thing by returning the box back to the store. So I've already talked about barcodes in previous tutorials, but again, barcodes are very important within Tellervo. So using the labels menu here, we can generate new labels, both for the samples and for the boxes. These are pretty simple interfaces again. So if, for instance, we want to recreate some of these labels, if you wanted to tidy up these labels, we can select the boxes that we're interested in, and we can do a preview. So that's querying the database for the boxes and for all the samples that should be contained within those boxes. So that's brought up a PDF form ready to print. Now these are designed to be printed on A5 sized labels. So we use a sort of an archival label, which should stay permanently fixed to the box. So you'll see for each of the boxes you have the code for the box, the name of your laboratory, the date that this box record was created, and when it was when the label was last updated. And there you'll also have a list of all the samples within the box, organized by object, so by site. And of course you have the barcode as well. So these barcodes are really handy for quick access to the information. So if you're as I say, checking the box in and out, you can very quickly and easily scan this barcode to record exactly what you're doing. We also have a very similar feature for the sample labels. I think I've shown you this in the previous tutorials, but again, you can just pick the particular site that you're working on, and this site's only got 2 samples in it. We can just select the sample labels we want to create, and again, we can just go ahead and create the labels ready for adding to the samples. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you. If there's anything I can do, just let me know and I'll try and help you out. Thanks.